Okay, we are live here today. It is December 12th. Good afternoon, buenas to everyone who is joining the stream or who joins the stream. I am accompanied today by Mr. Marcos. Marcos, please present yourself.
Hello, hi. Well, thank you, Ace. Thank you for having me in your channel. For me, it's a great honor to share some of the knowledge that I have gained during these 17 years working with expats. My name is Marcos Chibuisa. I'm the CEO of the company EcuaAssist, and we have been working for expats, serving expats in EcuaAssist for 15 years now. And for me, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us today, Marcos. And for everyone who's joining the live stream or when you join the live stream, I do apologize for the structure. It looks a little bit odd, but for some reason, it structured it like this, one on top of the other, like the live stream. So we're gonna work with that. I forgot I still have this on. Turn off the speaker so it doesn't interrupt. Lower the volume on here. I also want to check the stream from the phone. Okay, yeah. So it's like it's structured one camera over the other. So we're just gonna have to work with it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But yeah, today we're gonna answer some questions that the audience has, and of course, I also prepared some questions beforehand so that we can, get the ball moving, and you know, you can ask anything that you think is relevant for your trip to Ecuador. If you're moving to Ecuador, if you're planning on retiring to Ecuador, living in Ecuador, all of these questions, any questions that you have related to that, Marcus will be able to help us here today. So I'll begin with one of my favorite questions because it has to do with one of my best videos on my channel. So, Marcos, what are your 3 tips for people moving to Ecuador?
Okay, well, for me, you have to research a lot. You have to research, you have to acknowledge that not everything that you are reading on the internet it's accurate or is updated. I have received some emails where people are asking me questions about immigration rules or any other rules backdated from 2017. So they start making plans based on this. So that would be my first tip. My second tip is embrace that you are coming to a new culture, which it's beautiful. It's a lot very relaxed compared to North America. Um, Sometimes people in Ecuador they love to take 1 hour lunch. So get ready for that for a different pace of life because uh, sometimes here or most of the time in Ecuador is most important the family time or the time that you have to spend with your friends or family. So that's another thing that will be my second tip. And the third tip is try to learn some Spanish. Even though people in Ecuador they are the friendliest people on earth. No matter wherever you go, if you go to a supermarket, if you go to the market, they will try to help you. They will make signs to tell you whatever you need or whatever you want. People in Ecuador they will be helping you, but it's another story if you learn the language. So you can interact with them. You can learn more about them, the culture. You can learn more about what they think, about how they see life. So it's not because you needed to navigate Ecuador as an expat. Because I mean, I have a lot of friends, a lot of clients that they have been living in Ecuador and they speak very little of Spanish. But if you want to have a real immersion with the Ecuadorian culture about what is living in Ecuador, learn Spanish.
All right, excellent tips. The one about learning Spanish, it's excellent. Like I always tell people, like if you really want to understand Ecuadorian culture, you got to know Spanish because people will primarily talk to you in Spanish. Especially like there's a lot of people who like to explore the countryside. They like the idea of going to the countryside, And in the countryside, it is very difficult to find people who speak English. So that is a very great tip, like to know Spanish, to be able to interact with them and to learn things that you might not even find online because it's campo culture, culture from the countryside. So it's like, it's not things that you like hear about in the city. But speaking of the city, we are getting some more updated language in terms of English. Like I've noticed that there are more people who understand some English. It's obviously not everyone, and it's not going to be like game changing. Like you can come here, every person you talk to is like is going to know English. But before I said like there was like maybe 1 in 10 people who might know Spanish, maybe two. Now I can move that up to like maybe three. Like it's not like a substantial change, but it's like better than it was before. I've actually come into contact with more people, and of course I've taught some of these people like to speak English. So it's like some people they talk to me and they're like, "Oh, teacher, remember we had classes and stuff like that." Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you still practicing? And then that's when they're like, but they understand me. So it's like
Absolutely.
it's part of the process, and it's good.
Yeah.
Embracing the culture, also a great tip. And the researching updated info, yes, things are changing constantly. Every
Mhm.
year there's something new. There could be something new, and it's just better not to risk it. Definitely contact the experts. We have Marcos here, of course, who can give you information on that whenever you're planning on visiting. And of course, if you need more information, you can, try. Nowadays, we've got this whole AI situation, and some things might be able to help, but don't 100% like take that as your only source of information. Make sure to ask around, look up online, and look for direct resources that are in the country and can give you that information. But yeah, great answers. Uh, I say we should go on to the next question. Either way, anyone who has any questions, please leave them in the chat. Moon River, Michelle, thank you for being here. Everyone else who joins, thank you for joining. Remember, you can leave your questions in the chat and we will be responding. Well, Marcos is going to be helping us out here today. Um, Marcos, I don't know if you want to tell everyone a little bit about EcuaAssist before we continue with some questions.
Sure, absolutely. Well, actually, it's a funny story. It's, I ended up working and founding EcuaAssist without knowing what the expat word mean. When I had a couple of friends in Quito, two expats. They own a business, and they told me once, Marcos, back in 2010, 2009, Marcos, Ecuador has been the #1 place on earth for expats in the world. I didn't know what expat word was, so I didn't pay much of attention, and I found out that I went to the coast. I started in Bahia de Caracas, and it was just amazing. It was just this group of people that they have chosen Ecuador to retire, to live, to invest, were so friendly. The expat community, they were so keen to learn about the culture. They were so respectful, and that was amazing back in the days because for me it was like, wow, this is really good, and I think I can make a difference. So then I started learning more about the expat community, but also not only that, also the impact of the expat community in Ecuador. So for you to know right now, in Ecuador, we have more or less 40,000 expats living in Ecuador. In average, they spend between 1,500 to 1,700 a month. That represents for the local economy of the country something near $700 million, a little bit more, and that's money that is not going to just one family. It goes to the local market, to the cleaning lady that's helping you to come and clean your house. You go to the little grocery store in the corner. You are supporting the local economy. So Equasys started like providing services for the expats, but it went in the direction of helping expats, but at the same time helping the Ecuadorian local economy. And nowadays, it's a need. for a lot of people in the US and Canada that they want to leave the US. And Ecuador is a great place for all those who want to retire, for those who want to invest. So EcuaAssist is advising expats on how to retire and live in Ecuador.
Literally, Ecuador assistance. So I mean, there's no like losing your way with this. It's great. Uh, let's continue. We're still waiting for more for questions from the public, but of course, like I said, I have some questions that I was going to ask myself. The second question that I have for you today, Marcos, what is one frequently asked question you receive about moving to Ecuador?
Well, the most common type of question that I receive is what type of visa is the best? That will be the first, and depending on each situation. But then another very frequent question I received is um, where in Ecuador will be the best place for someone to start living. But I always answer this. It depends on, I mean, what your needs are, your lifestyle, also your health. In Ecuador, we have the highlands, where we have a mild weather, but also we have the coast, which is beautiful, and we have cities in Ecuador that they are not that big as the same as in the US. We have probably two or three cities that are big. Quito, Guayaquil, Cuenca could be a big city, but still you can walk everywhere. So it depends on where the person wants to live and the lifestyle, of course. Depending on that, that will be then we will answer that question.
That's an interesting point that you make because I remember once I watched a video and I had to make a reaction to it, um, where they were saying the people who were talking in the video were talking about how you can walk everywhere, but like I know cities where it's like not possible to walk everywhere. So you got to be kind of specific and know what you want, where you want to go when you're coming to the country in order to accurately choose which is the best place for you, because like I can tell you in my opinion, like this city is great. Like I can give you X city and tell you, hey, this is the one. But like you come here and you're like, no, I don't like it. Maybe the climate, maybe the altitude, maybe the fact that it's not accessible to walk like wherever you want to go. Like those things are determining factors. For some people, it's not for them. So my recommendation, it's not that my recommendation is necessarily bad. It's just it's not tailored to that specific person. And that's where talking to someone who can give you that kind of advice specifically can help. Or like we always talk about with Don Shader, we always talk about coming and doing your exploratory trip. Like it before you come here to choose to live forever, like you're like, okay, let me visit for like a year, like do my exploratory trip. Maybe a year's too much for some people, and I know it sounds like a lot, but like this is where you're gonna live the rest of your life. So a year is not that much. But if a year's too much, you might say, okay, I'll come for 6 months, and give it a shot, see what it's like. If that's not that specific place is not for you, like don't give up on Ecuador. Just look for a different place that might be more your style, that might fit your lifestyle better. So yeah, that is great. By the way, we have some questions. Also, Deborah, hello. Welcome to the chat. Living, loving abroad. What's going on? How's it going? Buenas, buenas. Deborah has a question for you, Marcos. Uh,
Yeah,
how do you choose where to live in Ecuador? I think we kind of just answered something similar to that, depending on your lifestyle. But what are your thoughts? How do you choose where to live in Ecuador?
yeah. Well, absolutely. My first recommendation on that will be explore Ecuador. Ecuador, you can you can visit. You can live in different cities in Ecuador. You can live in Cuenca. You can live on the coast. You can live in Portoviejo. You can live in Manta. Also, you can choose and you can live in Puerto Lopez, which is a small fish town. And then you go on September. You can go and for whale watching, But my recommendation will be always travel between different cities in Ecuador, so then you can have a better idea of what is the vibe in that city. And of course, get in contact with the local experts, the YouTube channels, but also the Facebook groups. Facebook groups are a great resource, but of course, I mean, you will always get an answer, but it's always that you have to go and see yourself. Uh, for example, sometimes I ask my clients, well, tell me more about your health condition. Do you need a doctor? So if you need a doctor, my suggestion will be you probably will have to be living in near Quito or Cuenca or Portoviejo too, or another city that is nearby, good hospitals, great clinics. So basically, it depends on where your lifestyle is, your health condition. But of course, my recommendation always will be go and explore the country because it's beautiful and you will fall in love with one of those cities.
It's true. Sometimes you, when you go to the actual place, like we said before, like your lifestyle just doesn't fit that specific area. So then you go and try another one, and you see which one fits more to your lifestyle. Like just as an addition that Deborah said, I know to investigate many areas and see what matches your budget, but it's more lifestyle, comfort level, etc. What to keep in mind when looking for a new home.
Mhm, mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, in Ecuador, I mean, no matter which place, you can always get a good deal for rentals, and that would be what I will say the most, depending on your lifestyle, of course, but also your budget, on what amount of money you want to spend. I always say you can live comfortably in Ecuador with $1,500 a month, and you can live ultra luxurious in Ecuador with $3,000. I'm saying ultra luxurious, like having a person every single day come to your house, clean the house, cooking for you, 3 meals, and I mean, going to restaurants, going out, having a health insurance, all that. So it depends on your lifestyles, of course, and your budget.
There are some premium lifestyles that do require higher budgets, but I agree that with 3,000 you're set. Like for me to live super comfortably, like I guess normal comfortable, like you said, 1,500 is good, 2,000 is great, and anything over that is just like I have enough to like have fun and save and still like be okay. Like it's great. So if you're coming here, and as long as you're not like going crazy, because there are some people who are like, yeah, Ecuador is cheap, and you get, and this is maybe like a tip that I would give. Try not to get sucked into the cheapness, like because even something cheap can add up. So if like you're like, okay, because it's cheap, I'm gonna go out every weekend or every day. I'm gonna go out every day and spend at the most expensive restaurants and invite all my friends. Like if you're doing that like on a daily basis or even for some people on a weekly basis and you're spending a lot, like it could end up eating into your budget and putting you in a tough position because it's always good, and this is just a general rule, not even an Ecuador thing, to have some money saved aside for a rainy day. Like maybe tomorrow you have an accident. Like I'm just reading now that living, loving abroad, I'm guessing Steve is healing his broken ankle. I hope you get better, brother. But imagine having some money set aside to like go to the doctor, to maybe buy prescription medicine, to maybe have someone, instead of you going to the doctor, you can call them for a house visit because yes, that happens here too. You can have house visits. So it's like if you have that kind of money for like a rainy day and you didn't go and spend it like all over the place, like it's good for you. It's gonna be good. But in general, Ecuador is very budget friendly, and as long as you're not going overboard, acting like a baller, hey, like you should be fine. Uh, Going on to another question that we have, also from Deborah. We have one from Deborah, and we also have one from Michelle. Deborah is asking, is 3 or 4 days slash nights enough to explore?
Oh, okay. Well, no. we just did an starter trip with. It was 4 days in Cuenca, and it was another 3 days on the coast. And I mean, we were always busy from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We went to bed exhausted at night. And believe me, we didn't see half of what we were supposed to see. People got the vibe in Cuenca and the coast, and that's amazing because they get the chance to meet other expats, so listening from other people. But just 3 or 4 days, it will give you just a little teaser of what is the city about. You can feel the weather, but you need to explore and talk to people to see if this is the perfect place for you.
It's like the smallest appetizer. I think correct me if I'm wrong. Like the expression in Spanish, "ni para la muela." Like I don't remember how,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's like super like you're still hungry. You want more.
yeah, yeah.
You definitely want to have more time. Like when you're restricted like at to 3 to 4 days, there's so many things that you have to do. Like Marco's saying, like you're gonna be tired, and you're not. And I don't know like everyone's energy level, but like from one day to the next, having to do a whole bunch of activities or trying to look around like to explore might not be ideal. Maybe if it's just for like a touristic visit where you're just coming to like, have fun for a few days and look at some things in Ecuador, like maybe something like that might be good for a short amount of time. Although if I had to say it like because I've gone into the Facebook group a lot, the expat, not the expat, the travel information groups, and everyone after a week they're like they wish they had more time. The most frequent comment that I see aside from I want to go back is I wish I had more time. I wish I would have spent more time. If only I had the ability to spend more time. Like there's people who just can't get enough with the short amount of time that they have, and it's understandable. People have to go live their lives, so maybe a short vacation like that wasn't enough. The good thing is they can come back another time, but the bad thing is like I said, the shorter the time, the less you actually enjoy it or get to see the things that you want to see.
Hmm. Hmm.
After
Yeah.
that, we have another question from Michelle. By the way, we also have Next Up Boys. How's it going? Question from Michelle. What about health insurance? How far in advance should you buy?
Okay. All right. Here is a good question. Uh, I mean, I'm going to tell you from two perspectives. One is from the legal perspective for the immigration process. You don't need to have an insurance, a health insurance to start, I mean, to come to Ecuador. You need health insurance only by the time of the application for your visa. So then is when we recommend for you to get health insurance just for the legality of fulfilling the requirements. But this is what I have heard in other groups and other uh, uh, people that are experts get health insurance before coming to Ecuador, just in case something happens in day one. You will be covered in Ecuador. You don't need to get residency visa to get private health insurance. We can recommend you one of our associates, a third party company, which they're amazing. They have been working more than 10 years with the expat community, and they can offer you a good solution for that. A health insurance, I'm not the expert, but I think you can get it between $80 to $130, depends on each situation. But my recommendation will be to contact a broker who can help you and get the insurance before your arrival to Ecuador, just in case something happens between your arrival date to the um, application of your visa. So from the legal perspective, you don't need health insurance to enter Ecuador, but in practice, my suggestion, and this is what I have heard from other places, get health insurance before arriving to private health insurance.
I think the best example of of why that tip is very important, like to get it before you come, as soon as possible, of course, is with what happened to Michael. Uh, I don't know if you remember Don's. I don't know if you saw Don's story,
Yeah.
but I talked about this. I think maybe two live streams ago, and the community already knows. We talked about this on stream and everything. It was unfortunate. The story that I heard, it hurt because I wanted to meet Michael because Michael was constantly commenting in the live streams and the videos, and I thought, well, if he comes to Ecuador, like it would be great to meet him, but unfortunately, he passed away because he just didn't go through the process early enough to be able to be ready for everything. And unfortunately, like there's things that happen sometimes, even minor things. And it's funny because I hear this from a different channel on Philip DeFranco, and he's kind of like recommending a different service, but not the point. The point is what he says in his ad read is basically like you never know. Like this small pain, you put it off one day, but tomorrow that could be a big issue. And it's important to see a doctor as soon as you start feeling something is wrong with you. So if something
Mhm.
happened, like if you have insurance, instantly, hey doc, I need to see you. Something happened. I just want to make sure everything is okay, so that you don't end up like in a situation that's unfortunate. Like the worst case scenario, of course, like what happened to Michael, but like in lower case scenarios, it could just be something that starts to build up little by little, and like it affects your lifestyle. And the last thing you want is to like have your lifestyle affected because of some kind of situation that you could have avoided if you had treated it in time. The good thing over here is in general, at least medical expenses much cheaper than what I hear in the states. In the states, just an ambulance it is enough to put you out of a home. It's sad to hear, but over here it's a lot more accessible to even just get a doctor to come visit your house and just do a quick
Mhm.
checkup and make sure you're okay. So the insurance is good in general when you're talking about medical situations. It's a lot easier to handle over here because at least the expense isn't as big as it would be in a place such as the States or maybe Canada as well. I'm not sure what the medical situation over there is. I just know about the States because I always hear about how it costs an arm and a leg to be able to get yourself examined. Um, but going on, I wanted to see here some of the comments. Living, loving abroad. We always look for the most cost-effective way to do everything: buses as opposed to taxis, cooking at home, and so on. And cooking at home, the good thing is it also you cook at home like for one day, like you can cook for like the week if you wanted to. Like I wouldn't want to eat the same thing the whole week, but maybe you cook for 2 days and you cook for another 2 days and like you have things prepared. It's very cheap. Uh, Deborah Lol. Next up, boys, shout out from Canada. How's it going? Hope everything's good over in Canada. Michelle, I'm thinking 3 months, possibly six, then return to Canada and apply for pensioner visa. Should I get insurance immediately or before I leave for my last Canada visit?
Well, of course, depends on what the plan is. If you feel better having health insurance before your arrival to Ecuador, yeah, you can get it. But also, I mean, like with private health insurance, under the customer law, you can cancel the health insurance. So during the time that you are going to be in Ecuador, let's say a couple of months, you can get health insurance, private health insurance, and then you can cancel when you come back. You can get it again. By law, you're not supposed to receive any restrictions to get again with the private health insurance. There's only one thing that you need to know. You cannot get public Ecuadorian health insurance unless you get your visa and your cedula. Because for the ISS ES, what is called in Ecuador, the way that you get registered, or we all of us we get registered is with our cedula numbers.
Cellular is a lot more important than sometimes we think. All
Yeah.
right. Michelle's thinking about Quito, Cuenca, Manta, and the coast for the 5 months, then return. Next up, boys is asking: is there any teaching English jobs similar to China, Japan, Europe that can help me stay in Ecuador long term? Don't care about the money per se. It's the fact that I could stay that would appeal to me. So teaching jobs that help you stay for long term. Is there something like that? It's like similar to a work visa.
Yeah, yeah. I see. Well, it depends if a person gets a job and will be applying for the work visa. Yeah, but there are other options for you to stay in Ecuador. We have the digital nomad visa. We have the renter visa. Uh, we just need to explore which other options will be the best uh, in case this person it doesn't get a job teaching English. Because I mean, I don't know. I'm not very familiar with it, but probably you, Ace, you know this better. How much is the need of, or how easy it is to find a job teaching English in Ecuador?
I would say that factor varies depending on your notoriety, how well people know you. And sometimes I associate notoriety with like a bad thing, like oh, like you're wanted. No, but people they look for the people who are most recommended, and the way to get most recommended is either have incredible marketing. Maybe you have a page, maybe you make content and people know you because of that, uh, or word of mouth, which is a lot of what I work with. I've been offered tons of jobs while I have a job, which is why typically I decline. Um, because people know me. They're like, oh, yeah, I got your contact information from another teacher. They say you're a native, that you know English, that you studied here for as a language teacher. Can you work for us? Can you give private classes? Can you help me with translation? Like, you get a lot of offers when you're known. When you're not known, it's a little bit more difficult and people are a little bit more skeptical. Of course, like if you go and you leave your curriculum at a school, they can call you at any moment. But in
Mm-hmm.
your curriculum, it's always good to have some kind of mention that you're like, oh hey, professional, you're like you studied to be a teacher, because that for a lot of institutions nowadays, thank goodness, is very important. Because before, I remember there was a time when it was just like, if you knew English, we want you as our teacher at our school. Especially if you look American or if you look foreign, like they're like, we want you as a teacher. But now they are looking for more qualifications, like actually be able to like be more dynamic, like knowing that you had like an education in education, so that way you can educate. The redundancy. But yeah, it's 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 about as difficult as the amount of time that you've spent into making yourself known in the environment that you're going to. So like I said, really good marketing. If you've got social media that shows that you're a good teacher, hey, excellent. If you've got a lot of recommendations from word of mouth, also excellent. But if you come here and you're just like, I'm American or I'm European or I'm Canadian, I'm just gonna see if someone wants a teacher. Uh, it might be tough because they don't know you. They don't know what your work ethic is. They don't know your history. There's nothing to support that. You'd be a good teacher for someone. So that's the variation in difficulty level finding a job here. Like there's job opportunities everywhere. It's just also depending on how willing you are to ask for one, to go around and look for it, and what you're willing to do. Hmm. So we have more
Yeah.
comments here. Uh, Going back to the situation with, I'm guessing it's the insurance. Oh, by the way, Deborah, thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Muchas gracias. Uh, Here we have Michelle talking about, I'm guessing it's the insurance, because so in addition to my travel insurance and my coverage, Canada provides for 6 months. I should additionally get a policy from Ecuador. Can you pay a year policy in a lump sum?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I I'm gonna have that answer very soon. I just sent a message uh, to our health insurance provider.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for that. So let's keep that pending to answer. I think you can, but I just want to confirm. Um, giving the right answer.
All right. I'm also a big fan of lump sums, like of paying things at once and not paying it little by little. The only bad thing is if you're someone here who wants to build up a credit, like when you pay for everything at once, it just doesn't generate credit. Apparently, credit is generated more when you pay, little by little. You buy something maybe in quotas, even if it's something small. That's why the recommendation they always tell you when you want to start building your credit here, buy like a microwave or a toaster or something, and then start building a credit through that. Even if you know you can afford it at once because it's not that expensive. Either way, it's just a good way to start building up your credit. Michelle also asked, "Can I get two policies?" I guess you're asked the professional to help you out with that. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I don't want to burden the public system. It's okay, Michelle. Another question: how would global travel insurance work? I've heard Blue Box is popular. We recommend Blue Box here a lot because even Don recommends Blue Box. An alternative that I have on the channel is, of course, Safety Wing. They talked to me once. That's why I always recommend them. And I've also checked out the videos of people with their testimonies, and it seems to be like a very good service. They even offered
yeah,
to give me the insurance to test it out myself. Just that right now I didn't want to you know opt into it. It is an option, but uh, it's always up to you which one you choose. Do you have any thoughts, any comments about Blue Box?
yeah, absolutely. Actually, they are. I'm sending a message to Carlos, so I'm waiting for him to reply. Carlos from Blue Box.
All right,
We're good friends. And yeah, that's the company we recommend to our clients. They have been working in the market over 10 years. So that's the company for you to go if you want to get health insurance in Ecuador. And they're always there to answer any of your questions. And it's very easy to work with them. Sometimes it could be a little bit messy and complicated to deal with insurance, but they will make it easy for you. So yeah, Carlos, I'm just waiting for him to answer the message that I sent.
perfect. I know Don always recommends Blue Box. Also, he's like best insurance that you can get when you're here. So
Yeah,
Don is the no BS guy. So I take his word for it. I might have to get Blue
yeah,
Box myself.
yeah.
Uh, Living Loving Abroad also answers yes, we paid for an entire year, our first year in Ecuador, so the lump sum for sure. And they recommend we've had Confiamed and currently use Blue Box. Cool. And Michelle says, Law, I'm 65, building sandcastles full time, no credit required. Perfect. Thanks. Shout out to Senor Shader. Oh, man. Shout out to my brother. By the way, it was his birthday the other day. I don't know if you saw his post on Facebook, but he said he was celebrating his birthday with the great and wonderful Stella. It was I think maybe 3 or 4 days ago, but it was his birthday.
hmm hmm
Blue, Living Loving Abroad says Blue Box is very responsive. Okay, cool. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. I'm gonna ask the other question that I have for Marcos, one of the questions that I personally made over here. So, what is Marcos? What is one thing that no one talks about when moving to Ecuador? As YouTubers, as people who talk about Ecuador and like certain things that you see online, we say the things that we know, the things that we've investigated, the things that we lived through. But what's one thing that you never hear anyone talk about when it comes to moving to Ecuador?
Okay, well, I speak about this a lot in the seminars or the conferences that I have the chance to speak in abroad. But one of the things that I always like to talk is we have to be humble enough to accept that we don't know what we don't know. You're coming to a new country. Um, you just don't know how things work. Yeah, it's from the cultural perspective, from the construction to from how you see the system working. It's just like sometimes I have received people, I mean, complaints from people saying, well, this should be done this way, done this other way. The cops do this and the cops do that, or the transit should be this way, or anything else. So those are one of the things that I would like to speak about. That you have to be humble enough to to accept that you don't know what you don't know. You're coming to a new country where everything is going to be new. You have to embrace it. But if there's one thing that people don't talk about is right now, well, everyone is talking about the security right now in Ecuador. But and we can talk about that too to give our own perspectives. But there is something that the culture in Ecuador is just like mañana, tomorrow. It doesn't mean mañana. Mañana means like down the road in the future it will happen, but probably not. What I started saying in the beginning, people value a lot to spend time with their families, with their friends, their free time. So that's something when everyone is coming to Ecuador, they, I mean, you wouldn't expect to have, like, you go to Chipotle and you get the order in less than 1 minute, or you get the check as soon as you finish. So probably it will take a little bit more. So every time you go out, take your time, make plans, be flexible. That's what I think it will help you a lot. And I don't know if a lot of people are talking about it, but I like to speak about this every time that I have the opportunity to speak in an audience for people seeking to relocate to Ecuador.
Flexibility and patience. There's things that, I mean, it's a new culture. It's difficult to understand everything. So definitely, really, really good tip to understand, to like be understanding and be flexible in that aspect. That's good. Uh, by the
Okay,
way, we have a comment
I
here.
got
Wiser America, how's it going?
yeah.
So yeah,
I,
hey, how you doing? How do I adjust this? I not sure what the question is, but okay.
yeah, I
Uh,
got a response from Carlos. He said that yes, you can pay 1 year in advance.
all right, cool, excellent. All right, let's move on to the next question. If there's anyone who has any questions, Wise America, I'm not sure if what you mean, like how do you do this? How do you join? Well, you're here in the live. Welcome. If you have any questions, of course, just leave it in the chat. Uh, any questions that you have, we'll do our best to answer. Well, Marcos will help us here today. And let me get you message. Not sure what you mean by that, but okay. Let's move on to the next question, the one that I have. And what is the first thing someone should do when they arrive to Ecuador?
The first thing, I mean, the first thing that you should do is try to get your documents, I mean, your visa in order. It's very, very easy to get distracted with all the places that you can visit in Ecuador. Sometimes we have friends that they come to our office 10 days before the expiration of their tourist visa or their extension because they got distracted. And it's very easy to get distracted in Ecuador because the the pace of life absorbs you. Uh, you start thinking as not like in North America. You start like having a different lifestyle. You live so without stress. So my recommendation is to start with the visa process right away because the visa process in Ecuador, it takes between 8 to 10 weeks to get approved. While your visa is in process, you're okay if you overstay. But what you cannot do is to leave Ecuador because you don't have a visa to re-enter the country. So that will be my personal recommendation. Start with your documents, getting them apply for the visa process.
All right. Start the documentation process as soon as possible. ASAP. All right. Well, Wiser says I'm the guy you messaged, but I didn't message anyone. At least, not that I know. um, let's see here. Great info, guys. Thank you, Michelle. Easy Wander says temporary resident pension applicant here. Randy, it's excellent. By the way, guys, don't forget a reminder if you need help, of course, from EcuaAssist. Gonna leave the page as a comment here. Um, that, of course, is an affiliate link. And Marcos and EcuaAssist help the channel if you guys end up using a service. Only if you use it. If you don't, it's okay. But you can check it out through there. Either way, we're going to continue with the questions. I do have one more, and I have some extra just bonus questions that I have here. But the one more solid question I have are what are three areas in the country that you would recommend people live in?
Okay, okay, all right. The first and the top right now is Cuenca. Cuenca was ranked as the safest city in South America. It's not a secret that Ecuador has some headlines from the largest newspapers in the world. One of the reasons of this is because Ecuador historically has been a peaceful country. And having a country where right now there are there are murders, of course, this will be hitting the headlines. But Cuenca, it's a place where I just visited Cuenca, and oh man, you can feel that is very safe. Of course, you can take your precautions like any other city in the world. But the first city that I will recommend for those who want to start living in Ecuador is Cuenca. The second area in Ecuador that I will recommend for me probably is Quito and specifically Cumbaya. Cumbaya, that's near Quito, that's 15, 20 minutes from Quito. And Quito is a large city, but at the same time, you find a lot of activities, you find a lot of things to do. And the third area where I will recommend people to move is Manami. Because number one, the people, two, the food, three, the weather, four, the access that you have to the ocean. That's just amazing. And Manta, Portoviejo, 10 years ago, it is not what it is right now. Portoviejo is one of the most beautiful cities in Ecuador, and Manta is right on the ocean. So they're very close to each other. So the third area that I will recommend for those who are planning to live in Ecuador is the Manabi area, specifically in the Portoviejo and Manta areas.
All right, excellent recommendations. We have a question here, by the way, from Michelle. Can I complete the entire visa process while in Canada? Has the process switched to online visa? Is there that possibility?
Yes, it is. It is possible to start and receive the visa while you are abroad. Um, and here, let's say if we're applying for the pensioners visa, let's give this example. If you're applying for the pensioners visa, you have to consider that the visa process in Ecuador to get the visa approved, it takes between 8 to 10 weeks. Once your visa gets approved, uh, what the law says is you have 60 days to actually pay for the visa and get the visa. So the visa will be issued, let's say today, December 12th of 2025. If your plan is to apply for permanent residency, you have to keep in mind for you to qualify for permanent residency, you have to be in Ecuador for at least 21 months before you become eligible to apply for permanent residency. But within this window of 21 months, you cannot be outside of Ecuador more than 90 days. So let's say you receive your visa today, December 12th, but you're planning to come in January 12th, more or less, you will have only 60 days to be outside of Ecuador within the first 21 months. So my personal recommendation every time I speak with my clients is come or apply for the visa by the time when you're 100% sure that you will start living in Ecuador, if your plan is to apply for permanent residency in Ecuador.
That's really informative. I had no idea about that, about that process.
Mhm.
I hope that helped, Michelle. All right. Remember, if you have any other questions, please make sure to ask. One thing I wanted to ask is one of my bonus questions that I have here. Since you and it's convenient because you actually mentioned living close to the ocean. What are some benefits to living by the beach?
Oh yeah, I mean, your, your immune system it will improve in Ecuador. In the highlands, yeah, that will happen. The fresh air from the coast, you have that ocean breeze that you will be receiving at all times, and that's just amazing. Uh, you get vitamin D too. I mean, and the food, it's just like it's. I mean, living on the coast is just amazing. I really love living on the coast.
All right. Honestly, I always hear about how relaxing it is to live, well, to be at the beach. My dad's always wanting to go to the beach at least to like, you know, reset for like, just to like come back to life. Michelle, by the way, says I agree with the first three. You get bonus points number four, and yes, that was very informativo.
Thank you.
All right. One of my other bonus questions because there's this comment I see a lot, but I don't know if it's like for real or if it's like more of a joke. When you see it on like Manta or like posting for people who live here, and it's like they always say like, "Oh, I wish I would have brought this," or "I wish I would have brought that." Like, "Oh, I left that at home, and I should have brought that." So, what are some items that you recommend people not forget when coming to live in Ecuador?
Well, this is funny. I have my very dear friend, and probably a lot of you know him, my late friend Mark Crockery,
Ah,
and yeah, and we used to talk a lot. He was one of our clients. He was, I mean, we were one of the first people that he spoke with, and he always stayed with us for anything he needed. So one of the things that he always said is underwear. In Ecuador, people they don't have this. We don't have those large sizes that you can find in the U.S. So for him, it was very hard to find underwear. So and also what I have heard for ladies, also shoes. Sometimes it's hard to find shoes. So yeah, it's always good to read that. But that was back in the days. But now in Ecuador we have Amazon. We can receive Amazon in Ecuador. It takes a couple of weeks. It's not like Prime as in the US that you receive same day delivery, but it will take a couple of weeks. And you can get most of the things in Ecuador. Just making sure that you have your address well written, and you will get things from order from Amazon.
the situation with the shoes is something that Don Don Shader always mentions. He's like, I can't find a pair of shoes here that fit. I also once had a comment from someone saying that they wanted to buy a shirt, but they weren't sure if it was gonna fit because their size was a little bit bigger. The good thing is, for example, no sponsor here, but like Porto Outfit, the clothing store that's Portoviejo clothing, like literally, like the details are Portoviejo related. They sell oversized shirts, so the shirt's already big. So if you wanted a big shirt, they do sell oversized. I don't know when oversized became so popular over here, but like right now it's like I see a lot more people using or wanting to get oversized. But yeah, the under one, the underwear one is pretty funny. And I actually saw a comment right now. Easy Wanderer, Hanes six pack. Lol, definitely. You know, if you've seen Hanes, like yeah, the six pack is great. My dad loves to get
Yeah.
the Hanes six pack. Whenever he hears someone is going to the states, he asks for either shirts or a six pack of underwear. That is his go to.
Yeah.
Uh, Deborah says she's gonna check out your company for visa processing. That's good, Deborah. Uh, Deborah also says one of the things to remember to bring is sunscreen. That's actually one of the things that I mentioned once before because sunscreen is very expensive over here and not really big containers. It's just not a lot. So
Mhm.
yeah, sunscreen is definitely a good option.
That's a good.
Michelle Don wears canoes, not sure. Oh man, if Don were here right now, he'd either agree or be like,
Yeah.
"Fight me." But yeah, those are the questions that I primarily had. I wanted to make more, but those were the main ones I had. I don't know if anyone would like to ask any more questions. So we got Marcos here. Um, See if I can think of one as well. Well, one of the things I guess for me, one of the things that I say you should bring, just going into that idea, is definitely something that you really like, and you're worried that you might not find over here. For me,
Mhm.
that for some reason that's always just been like food stuff. Maybe some tech items might be good to bring over because you save on the having to bring things. Something that you consider is vital for you. If you happen to be a digital nomad, definitely a excellent laptop would be great to have. That way you have it over here and you don't have to worry about buying one here. Uh, in that same line of thought, maybe a smartphone that you think is good for you, because some brands are not available over here. Like it doesn't even have to be iPhone. iPhone you can find; it's just more expensive. But like, there's a brand called Nothing, which is an American brand. So that brand, like if you like that phone, definitely bring that over. Google the Pixel. I have not seen stores that sell the Pixel over here. So if that happens to be the type of phone that you like, definitely worth bringing it over. Um, what else would be another good? Like for me, in terms of snacks, it doesn't last a long time. But like if there are snacks that you happen to like in the states, definitely bring them over. One example of this, and I'm gonna show you because I had to order it. I had to ask someone to bring it for me. Is these hot fries? I if you bring me these hot fries, we're friends. I love these hot fries. These hot fries are the snack that I used to eat all the time. I know it's not healthy, but it's just something that I really like. The hot fries, the baked lays. I miss the Rice Krispies treats because they don't sell them here. What else is another thing that I really like but I don't see it here? Hot fries, Rice Krispies. There's the Otis Spunkmeyer, I think it was called, the muffins. They had them here for some time, but then they don't have them anymore. But like I said, it's just really snack stuff that you just can't find here. Like they're just things that I like, but they're just really difficult to find. So there are just some recommendations, some random recommendations. The tech definitely a general recommendation for anyone. Have something that you know is going to last you for a long time, and then you won't have to buy another thing of that item again. Um, and yeah, those are the things that I would personally recommend. Uh, Michelle asked, "Can I bring phone as Hiras? If so, how many?" I think the limit on phones was like you can bring two, maybe.
On which
Mm-hmm. Think one is like your personal phone and one is like an extra, right?
Yeah, what the law says, you can bring one new, one use, but you can bring two use. That's no problem. Two use.
Yeah. So if you wanted to bring phones, you can bring two. There's the typical courier services. That's why they typically say, hey, if you want a phone, like they can get that for you. It's definitely cheaper than buying it here sometimes, but if you can bring your own, that's great. You can also bring one, and if you wanted to sell another one, like you could bring like your phone, your used phone, and then you bring a new one and you sell it. Um, so yeah, definitely two. One is used and one is new, or two used if you want. But then after that, like all other tech, you can bring. Uh, I think a little bit more in terms of general tech that's not phones, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's a list. I'm going to share that with you. But there is a list that is from customs, where also they give you these specifications. If a person just recently received this question from one of our clients, to bring a drone. So the drone, it's certain value that you're allowed to bring. But there is a list on that. Uh, for very specifics what you can bring, but mostly is for personal use. For personal use, I mean, you will be okay. If you're bringing, I don't know, maybe 5 drones or 10 drones, that will be very suspicious for the
Mm-hmm.
customs authorities in Ecuador. Or if you bring like five new cell phones, 5 iPhones, that will be suspicious for authorities in Ecuador.
Yeah, anything over. That's why when it's like over two, they start to think, yeah, you're gonna bring business over here. Like you're coming to sell these things. So that's why two is the sweet spot for most tech. Like if you want to bring two laptops or two tablets for some reason, two phones, like limit it to that. I see Michelle saying, I have three I don't use. Can I bring them to give away? Like the thing is, they don't know if you're actually gonna do that. So like you could bring one for yourself, and you could bring another one, and you can give both of those away. But like you should have your a phone at least, um so that way you have a way to get in touch with anyone you need to get in touch with. Of course, the doctors, if you need to talk to a doctor, you definitely want to have a phone on hand for that, because remember, you can there are some doctors that you can message them and they'll do house calls. So definitely, even if you don't want to have a phone, because I know some people want to detoxify. I've actually heard of some phones that are called dumb phones, that their
Mhm.
purpose is to like make you not be on social media, not take so much pictures. Like they're just phones that do very simple things. Um, so like people do that. Uh, so I get the idea of wanting to get away from some tech, but definitely have one phone for yourself to be able to get in touch with doctors. Um, what electronic items are difficult to get here? What are some items that are difficult to get here in Ecuador?
Mhm, mhm.
Difficult? I mean, mostly everything, I think most of the things that you would need on a daily basis are available. Just some things are available at a premium price, and some things are available, but maybe not the ideal version that you're looking for. Might be the best way to look at that. Like I know it doesn't count, but like for example, cars, like all the cars are available, but like the most feasible option for people to buy is like Chinese cars, but like people don't like the Chinese cars in general. But if you wanted to get a car that just took you from point A to point B, Chinese car is fine. But a
Mhm.
lot of people don't want that because it's like, no, it's Chinese, it's gonna break, it's not quality. So like you might be able to find some things here, most things, just not at the highest quality. Or once again, you'll find them, but at a premium. I'm not sure about specifics. Like for example, I bought these headphones recently. Well, recently talking about I think this year. Um, and I didn't get them here because I couldn't find them here. I had to order them online. So that's an example of something that you can't really find here. You could find similar headphones, but these are specifically DJI. Drones might be an example of something that's difficult to find here. I've always wanted a drone, well, for my channel. Like it sounds like a good investment. Like if you wanted to get those shots from like a higher view, but like getting it here is tough. It's kind of expensive, and getting it in general is just like very costly. Um, Deborah thanked us, by the way, Marcos and Ace. Thank you. Um, I have an iPhone 16. Can it be serviced there? Yeah. If you happen to be in any city, but like if you're here in Portoviejo, my best friend, he has a store that sells phones in general, and he services phones as well. And if he can't service it, he has plenty of contacts that can service it. But in most cities, you'll be able to find tons of places that can service phones. Definitely, definitely. Easy Wanderer says, I see tech stores everywhere in Cuenca. I've seen drones in stores in Quito. Not sure about Cuenca. For sure. But most of those things come like I said, a premium. And definitely, I can barely afford it at the normal price. At the premium, not exactly my cup of tea. But they are available. There's things that you can find. Novicompu is a store that's like tech store, very common over here in the coast. Not sure about in Quito and other cities, but like I could find a lot of tech items there. Just I think I've seen some of the things that are sometimes more expensive. Sometimes it's like they might not have the things, or they might have it, but at an older version. So it's like you know there's those caveats that come when going to these specific stores. Michelle says, I have 75 gigabytes a month and have not even used 1 gigabyte in a month the last 10 years. Phone is just a phone for me. I'm old school. Ah, well, whatever works for you, Michelle. Personally, I like to update things, but like with a 3 year cycle. Like when I have a phone for like 3 years, I'm like, okay, now I can maybe sell this one and get another one. Like I work with two phones because when I was at the high school, sometimes if you mix your work number with your personal number, you're like out of work and people are messaging you and you're like, no. As a teacher, that's very stressful. Um, but also with the videos that I record, it's good to have a phone that focuses on recording, and another phone that doesn't have to bear that burden because the battery dies very fast when it comes to editing, especially with the amount of time that it takes to render a video. The other day, literally the video that I made for the burgers, it took so long
Mhm.
that it took away the whole battery life. I had to charge it before it died, and then it like ended. It finished it rendering maybe in like 2 hours plus. I was like, wow, that's some crazy render time, and I didn't feel it was that much of an edit. Like it was a big edit, but like I felt like I've edited more before. I don't know. Maybe it was my imagination, but it definitely killed my battery really fast. Although that also speaks to the battery life because I do know
Yeah.
my current phone, the one that's right now projecting this image, is its battery life is definitely deteriorating. This one's already very deteriorated. It's just since it's not live, it's alive more. But like I saw the 20% warning just a while ago for that phone over there. But that's okay. We're here in live, and like I said, like I don't mind. That's what it's for, and that's the good thing about having a phone with that purpose. But yeah, I don't know, Marcus. Is there anything else you would like to add or say while I think of a question, or if anyone else has any questions? Of course, please remember if you're joining the live, buenas. You can leave your questions in the chat, and Marcos here will help us answer. If I can answer something, I'll also give some comments. But yeah, anything you want to add, Marcos, right now? Anything you want to say?
Yeah. Well, actually, I would like to share with you the briefly, in less than 5 minutes. I would like to explain all the type of visas we have in Ecuador.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, in less than 5 minutes, maybe three. In Ecuador, we have two type of visas. We have temporary and permanent residency visa. Under temporary residency visa, we have different categories. First, always you have to go for temporary residency visa. If you want to apply for permanent, as I said before, and I'm going to repeat again, you must have 21 months of temporary residency, and within these 21 months, you cannot be outside of Ecuador more than 90 days. So that's for permanent residency. On the temporary residence visa, we have pensioners visa for those who receive money from the government, a pension. The minimum for 2025 is $1,410. That how it's calculated. This is based on the Ecuadorian monthly minimum wage, which for Ecuador in 2025 is $470. Then we have the digital nomad visa. The digital nomad is for those who can work remotely as long as they have a job. They have a contract that allows them to work remotely, but also they must justify that they're receiving more than $1,410 through Ecuadorian monthly minimum wages. Then we have the renter visa. The renter visa is for those who have a passive income. Passive income, whether is if we have an investment that's paying you every month, um, it's not a salary. It's paying you an interest or paying you a dividend that will qualify you. Or if you have a rental, if you have a real estate rental that is paying you more than $1,410, you qualify for the renter visa. Then we have the investor visa. The investor visa is for those who invest in Ecuador, whether it's in real estate, a certificate of deposit, or shares in an Ecuadorian company, as a minimum of 100 Ecuadorian monthly minimum wages for 2025. That's $47,000. $47,000, yes. And then we have the professional visa. The professional visa is for all those who have college education. As long as you have a college diploma, you qualify for the professional visa. You don't need to have a job. You don't need to have. You don't need to start a business here, or you don't need to invest any money in Ecuador. As long as you have your diploma, register in Ecuador, then you qualify for the professional visa. Those are the most common and most popular visas in Ecuador that we have for our clients. But on top of this, we have the dependent visa. The dependent visa is for those who don't meet the requirements for the visa that I mentioned before, but they are spouse or they are children from the main applicant. No matter if they are underage or they are over 18 years old, they still qualify to get the dependent visa as children. So those are the type of visas. Obtaining the documents in the US or Canada, it takes between 8 to 10 weeks. In Ecuador, since the application date, it takes 8 to 10 weeks. And you have to consider that you cannot start too soon or too late. You cannot start too soon because documents expires in 6 months. Let's say you get your FBI background check, so you only can use that background check only for 6 months since the issuance date of the FBI background check. And you cannot start too late because it takes 8 to 10 weeks. And my recommendation always is that you get your documents in US or Canada and you bring the documents with you, but also with the online application, you can scan them to us. We do the translations in Ecuador and we submit the application while you're still in the US or Canada or your country. So you will be receiving the visa before your arrival. So then we can start with that. But I said before, the 21 months, then towards the application for permanent residency. That summarizes what the visas in Ecuador are, the options. And if you have any questions, send those questions.
Wow, that's super informative. All right. Let's see if anyone has any questions here. Easy one. I can praise the classical music scene in Quito and Cuenca. Yes, it's good. Michelle says, been such a pleasure. Thank you both kindly. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. And Michelle also asked, can you combine rental and pension visa?
No, you cannot combine. And we just recently have a case of a Canadian client that he receives in one of his pensions, he's receiving in US dollars. He's receiving, I believe, is for $1,350 more or less, and combined with another income plus 700, with those two combined, it's more than 1,410. But the immigration authorities, they just want one. So we need to explore which other category will be the best for him. So then we can go for any other type of visa, whether it's the professional visa. We can be creative on what type of visa will be the best for this client specifically. But you cannot combine real estate or investor visa and the pension visa.
All right. Uh, let's see here. Canada dollars are 60 cents USD. What is the order of documents gathering? Like, in what order do you have to gather the
Okay.
documents?
Okay, what I will recommend to start with first, whether it's in Canada or in the US, is with in Canada the RCMP background check, and in the US the FBI background check, because that's what it takes the longest to get the apostille. In Canada, also takes between 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes a little bit more. Last year we have a big strike. It was a nightmare for a lot of our clients that they were waiting for the RCMP while they were in Ecuador. So that's why I recommend always to start obtaining documents in your home country before coming to Ecuador. So now with the online application, we can start that before your arrival to Ecuador. So the order will be first the background checks, then if you're applying for the pension document, or if you're applying for digital nomad, those contracts. But we normally, most of the cases, we send the instructions, because we send weekly updates to our clients. We send instructions on to obtain all of them at the same time, or we will be giving them instructions on what is needed for.
All right. Michelle, does that answer your question? Please let us know. But yeah, that's a lot of good information, Marcos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. No, I mean, I know you have a good audience, and in 2025, we're going to have an increase of the Ecuadorian monthly minimum wage, where they're talking right now in the government is between $15 to $20. But most of the cases, they can increase only $10. So probably for next year, the Ecuadorian monthly minimum wage, it will be $480.
They're gonna raise, but we're still not sure if it's that one
Yeah,
or a little bit more. Oh, and Michelle
yeah,
says clear sunshine. Excellent.
good.
I don't know if there's anyone else who has any other questions. If not, I think we're good here for now. Either way, we can have another conversation like this, another live stream where we can talk and answer questions at a later date. Sometime maybe in January, maybe after. We can coordinate. But if there are no other questions, then I think we're good for today. Michelle says
Yeah.
muchas gracias. Muchas gracias a ti, Michelle.
Yes.
All right. Well, since there are no other questions, either way, since this will be a VOD for anyone who watches this back later on, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. If Marcos has the time and he sees the comment, he'll go in and check it out. If I see the comment, I'll send him the question and I'll answer it based on what Marcos has to say. Um, if not, then either way, the video is always here, and I hope it's helpful for anyone who is planning on visiting Ecuador, living in Ecuador, joining this community. And yeah, Marcos, once again, I'd like to thank you for being here today. As you say in
Yeah.
Spanish, muchas gracias.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's a real honor, a pleasure to speak to your audience. Uh, and the last comment that I want to say is like, uh, Ecuador is a beautiful country. And probably the most important asset Ecuador has is it's you will find a place where you will be welcome. No matter wherever you go to the highlands, the coast. People in Ecuador generally they are friendly, and they are always keen to have more people coming from abroad.
In other words, in Ecuador, we love you, so come join us.
Yes.
Marcos, thanks again for being here. Can't wait for the next hang up, next live stream. Everyone else,
Yes.
thank you for being here. Muchas gracias. Take care of yourselves, and as always, ace out. Marcos, talk to you soon.